Alright, so today's lesson is on the volume of a right square pyramid. We're going to find the volume of each rectangular prism, and then we're going to find the ratio of the volume of the pyramid to the volume of the rectangular prism. We're going to go ahead and make sure we simplify our ratios as well. Okay. What's this going to do is by finding the rectangular prism and by finding the pyramid, using the volume they've already given for us, we're going to go ahead and be able to create a formula or equation to use every single time. So if we think about our two sides being here, or our four sides of our rectangular prism always being equal, and then we have our height. Our height of our pyramid, what's different about this one a little bit is that it's not any longer the height of our slant. It's actually the height from the very point to the very middle of it here. Okay, so that height is definitely different. Okay? And then our ratio that we're going to go ahead and create is going to be my pyramid volume over the rectangular prism volume. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at our first one. Our first rectangular prism has a base of 6, so I'm going to use that as the length times width, so 6 times 6. And then my height is 10, so I'm going to multiply it by 10, and I get an answer of 360 centimeters cubed. They've already given me the volume of the pyramid, has the same base, 6 by 6, and then has the same height of 10, and it has a volume of 120. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this and put it into my ratio. So I'm going to do 120 divided by 360, and when I simplify that down, I actually get 1/3. Alright, number 2. We now have a square base of 9 and a height of 15. So for my square base, my length times width, I'm going to do 9 times 9. For the height, I'm going to do times 15. And I get an answer of 1,215 inches cubed. Now the side length for my base, again, for my square prism is 9, same as my rectangular prism. And then the height for my pyramid is 15, same as my rectangular prism. And I get a volume of 405. So I'm going to put that into my ratio, 405 divided by 1215. And when I simplify that, I notice that it is 1/3 as well. Let's go ahead and do my next one, which gives me a base of 15 feet and a height of 7 feet. So if I do 18 times 18 for my base times 7, I get an answer of 2,268 feet cubed. Let's go ahead and then create my ratio here, 756 to 2,268. Simplify it, and yes, it does simplify to 1/3. Last one has a base of 15 and a height of 20. So for my prism, I'm going to go ahead and do 15 times 15 times 20, and I get 4,500. And then my volume for my pyramid was 1,500. Go ahead and put that into my ratio, and yes, again, it does simplify down to 1/3. So I've obviously noticed a pattern here that my pyramid is 1/3 the volume of my rectangular prism, as long as I'm having the same dimensions. That's the key. Alright, so our next question says, use the information from above to write the formula to find the volume of square pyramids. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that down. A square pyramid has 1/3 the volume of a, let's say, square prism, also known as a rectangular prism. Okay, and they do have the same base and height. That's the key too. Same base and height. Alright, so my original equation for my rectangular prism is the volume is equal to length times width times height. So if I think of it as 1/3, and my new equation for my pyramid is going to be volume is going to equal to 1/3 times length times width times height. Now, like I stated up above before, I want to make sure that my height I know is my height of my actual pyramid. It's not the height of the slant. Okay, so very important that our height is equal to at a pyramid, not slant. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use that formula to find the volume of our next problem here. I'm going to go ahead and write it again. Volume is equal to 1/3 times length times width times height. And so volume is equal to 1/3 times my length. So the length of my base is going to be 8. The width of my base is going to be 8. And the height of my triangle here, or my pyramid, I'm sorry, is from the center there to the point is 15. Go ahead and plug that into the calculator, and I get an answer of 320 feet. Oop, should be cubed, not squared. So that is the volume of my square pyramid. For you guys now, you guys have 3 problems to solve. So go ahead and pause the video. You guys have 2 pictures you can go ahead and solve, and then you have a problem that gives you your base length of 12 yards and a height of 16 yards. So go ahead and solve those 3 problems and see how you do. Make sure you write down the equation each and every time. It's going to help you remember it. So the first one, you should have gotten a volume of 36 meters cubed. Number 2, you should have gotten 108 centimeters cubed. And lastly, having a 12 yards base by 16 yard height, you should have gotten a 768 yards cubed.